One of the very important and ongoing trend topic that we are going to discuss today. So today's concept, whatever you can see on the slide. So you have it AI for data driven decision making and finance in the finance as well as the fraud detection. Correct? So is there anyone who have any ideation towards the topic? Can anyone share anything? What is your ideation towards this topic? Do you have any idea like what may be the concept that we are going to discuss today? So everyone knows AI, right? So what are the things that we have it with the AI? We know AI, which is artificial intelligence. We are utilizing artificial intelligence in a many ways, correct? Like we are using to create intelligence using machines to learn, correct? We are using the intelligence to make data analysis, correct? So we are using the AI to build the next generation vehicles. Like today, whatever we are getting, where if I consider Tesla's autonomous car, right? So Tesla's autonomous car, if I consider, it is considering the data from sensors and doing the decision autonomously. Who is taking this decision? So this decision is made by the our artificial intelligence algorithms. So the learning algorithms, whatever it is designed on the data. So there it is considered. Same if I come with few more analysis, like how does the industry utilizes the AI, correct? So there is an industry which comes up with, I'll consider HR industry. How does HR industry, like some example, LinkedIn does hiring, right? So there is something called CareerNet or many companies. So these companies, whoever are there, they will hire the candidates and will be given for the companies like Microsoft and others. So these HR people are going to work. How does AI is utilized in the HR industry? So today, AI is not just a word, correct? So AI has a lot of application in the entire industry. Even it considers some marketing industry. It can be a finance, it can be a banking, it can be education, it can be travel, right? So if you are the person who are seeing up the latest Shark Tank India's, you can how many products or how many people are designing some product, some application via AI, right? So now today AI is not just a word, it is the entire new generation skill, correct? So it is entirely new generation skill. Everyone, irrespective of whether you are from the engineering background, whether you are from a commerce background, whether you are from a science background, or you are from an art background, right? So AI is needed. Now, today we are going to speak about how is the AI implementation in the finance and how does the decision making using the data driven approach is considered in the finance, and in that one of the main application that we have it is a fraud detection. How does this works? So we will have a look with this, and understanding this concept we will go with some of the hands-ons. Okay, so now coming up with learn again, as I already told you. So we will be going to learn AI in banking and finance. This is one of the outreach, what we can call it as now ongoing trend, right? Where there is an highest application today's generation. So where AI utilization in banking and finance. Then how does the data analysis is considered in this domain? It can be with the basic Excel, or it can be with the advanced Excel, or it can be with the something like LLM. Like how do we have ChatGPT, Gemini, correct? So we have a different LLM models, large language models. How this data analysis is integrated with the first technologies like LLM. Then how does the fraud detection works? Correct? Maybe it can be a simple spam identification, right? So how does the spam identification happen in your phone? How does the spam identification happens inside the email? Similarly, how does the fraud detection happens in the finance industry, like maybe a credit card, debit card, fraud analysis? How does the AI is implemented? And how does the Copilot utilized for your creating a chatbot? So we'll see how does a chatbot can be created. How do we do the data-driven approach in the finance industry? So data-driven approach is very, very important, right? If I consider a simple example, if you went to some exam, one subject you have written, simple example, I'll consider you went for an exam for Python, right? You have given a Python exam. So what do you do after an exam? Once you come back, once you have given an exam, you do analysis. What type of analysis upon the data? You don't tell simply, yeah, I'll get first rank. I get 99%, right? What do? You take up a question, you see how much you have done correctly, you mark along with the marks how much you will be going to get. Then you will probably tell, I'll be going to get 60 to 70% or 80 to 90%, right? So you do a data-driven based approach. But when it comes to an industry, this data-driven based approach is not just small and it cannot be a manual, right? So if you are doing some data-driven approach and it is very manual and you have a very large data, right? If I consider I am from SBI Bank, correct? So in SBI, if you consider at least every village will have one SBI Bank. So in that, you will be having minimum to maximum how many? Like if I consider 1,000 people account, right? Similarly, if I consider for one taluk, one district, right? So there would be so many people who will be doing the daily wise transaction. So how does for this big data, the data driven approach should be taken? How does this is analyzed? What are the techniques that it is used in the finance industry and how do we see up them? This is what we are going to discuss. So now, like, how is the AI application in the finance? In what and all the parts of the finance we have implemented with the AI? So that is what AI utilization in the finance. So one thing very important is the fraud detection and transaction. Now you guys have heard there is a lot of what we call, even in there is a scam that comes up, right? So Instagram one, there will be a post to put some money and it will be in hacking, right? So you may have seen that hackings, right? So there would be like different frauds, transaction on the debit card, credit card, right? False transactions. They will hack the account and take the monies. There are a lot of things which happens in terms of coming up with the cyber security, correct? So, but there are the, like if you have an example, there are 10 transactions, right? So manually, if you see, yes, if you see there is this transaction happened also for my account. So today I have done 10,000 transaction. Tomorrow I'll do 20,000 transaction. Next day I'll do 5,000 transaction. And one day suddenly I'll be going to do 10 lakh, correct? So then I'll be doing again 20 lakh. Continuously in every span of a time, I'm trying to remove a very huge amount, right? So there is something suspicious. So the person who has just withdrawn 10,000, 20,000, suddenly he's extracting 10 lakh, 20 lakhs. So then these things identifying whether it is correct or not, how is it fraud? So this analysis now has been taken care by AI. So it is not manual. So there is an application of AI in terms of the fraud detection. Credit card risk assessment, credit risk assessment. So whatever the credit amount you have it, so you have taken something with the credit, and what are the risks that it will come when you have to repay. If you are not repaying, what are these things? So this again handled by AI. So recently, if I want to add up, I think there was one of the Shark Tank episode which came. I don't know how many of you see. So in that Shark Tank episode, so if anyone are taking a credit card, so there is something the points they get. So the person who is the founder of the company, so he is designed the AI to use this credit points. So whenever you do some transaction with the credit card, you get certain points. So within the duration, so whatever this validity is there, so how you can utilize these credit points to book a hotel or to book the flights without spending the money, how you can utilize these things on your transactions. So for this, he has designed an AI model, and that utilize like it is a mobile app where AI is utilized and doing the task, right? So again, there are a lot more application coming up. So there is something called loan approval automation. So if you have applied for a loan, so there is like earlier if we see, so it is manual, right? So you need to go to the person and you need to take his like you need to give, this is my loan application, please do grant me a loan. So they ask you one of the persons, what we call it as the nominee, correct? So you come up across the nominee, so those person has to give the nominee, and taking up the nominee, then they will be going to give you or taking up the what is that points and other stuff, whether you will be able to pay the amount or not. So then he will decide whether to give you the loan or not, correct? So there was a lot of process, but today it is not like that, right? So what we are trying to see to in today's time, all this whatever we are trying to do, right? So all this credit card or loan, everything is taken care by the AI. So AI is taking care with all this process of doing the task. So there is the implementation of AI, loan approval. Even when you have now today's, if you go with the mobile banking application, correct? So the mobile banking application has the features called your check, online check withdrawal, right? So if someone has given you a check, you don't need to go to bank to get credited. You can take a photo, you can put it in the mobile for withdrawal. It checks the validity, everything, and does amount credit back to your account. For that, again, there is an AI to evaluate all this process. Okay, so this everything that you have it, all are the applications of AI. Similarly, customer support chatbots. So today, if you have anything like you have done some transaction and it did not credit to the other person, if you have done some phone pay and it did not debit, it's not even with you, even it is not with the person for whom you have done the payment, then you will be trying to call this customer support and ask, right? So there first you cannot talk directly to the person, so there is a chat which helps to clarify the doubts, to get all the things, information. Then from there, if it is not resolved through the chatbot, then it goes to the customer support. Again, there is application of AI who will speak. So for upon this also, there was many things AI is doing up. So customized through AI, you can customize the customer support. Even AI based customer supports are there. So if you want to take a feedback, right? If you want to have some conversation, so the AI, if you have not done a payment, so for reminder and all, the AI based customer support, they will call once you get picked, like I'm calling you from BSNL and you have not done the payment for this cycle. So there are all things now today AI is been replacing, correct? So now personalized financial services, depending on how do you do the transaction and other stuffs. So what will be the personalized services to be given for you, that is also would be taken care by AI. So all this are a few of the application of AI in the finance, but there are a lot more further with this, which are coming up with the evolution, implementation wise, anything that you consider, all are having up with the AI. So AI is implementing all in these domains. So yes, let's go with further concept. Now we understood how is the use of AI in the banking and finance domain. So now how it is utilized and how AI comparing to the common financial fraud, like real world fraud detection. If I consider one of the example of fraud detection, how is that fraud detection happens with the AI? Let's see that. So first, what are the frauds that it happens in the finance, right? So if I see there is a credit card fraud, fake transaction, identity theft, and money laundering. These are the different financial frauds which happens. So if I consider you are working in a company, consider a very small company, or you have done your own business, right? You have done some clothing business, and you have doing through Instagram, you're selling the product, right? Or through WhatsApp, you are selling your product. And when you're doing this, you may come across like this. So someone has ordered, right? So he has done some transaction, which is a fraud transaction. The amount is not credited to your account at all. Without having your knowledge, you consider that he has placed the order. Yes, even the payment is shows that it is done, but amount is not credited to you. But there is a credit card fraud happened. There is a fake transaction happened. That is what fake transaction is basically like the amount will not get credited, but it shows you that you have done the payment successfully. Those are some fake transaction. Identity theft, like some other's identity that will be used and they will do the transaction. Money laundering, so who will or like demand the monies. These are the multiple frauds it happens, right? Now how does the AI is helping in identifying these frauds? One is detecting the unusual spending patterns. So if I want to see credit card fraud, whatever it happens, if someone hacked my account and using my credit card or debit card details, if they are taking the money, it will try to find AI the unusual patterns, correct? So how does this unusual pattern look like, right? So that where the model will get trained and it will identify, yes, this is where the fraud is happening. It is not the real person who is withdrawing the money. And it works in the real time. So all this identification, whatever it does, so it works 24/7. If any manually, if you are trying to do any person, you made it to sit, then he will work for 8 hours. In that also, like we cannot work 24/7. How does the AI work, right? So this works in a real time for 24/7, and it learns from the past fraud data. So you need to have a large data set where there is a fraud. Then you will make the model to learn, and it reduces the manual effort that there has to be put on finding the frauds. So that is how AI works on the fraud detection. Today, whenever you are doing the credit card or debit card, right, transactions, so many times it gets blocked. If you see, many times whenever you're doing fraud, if I consider I'm doing some US based transaction, suddenly, so I'm crediting in dollars, I'm doing the transaction, right? So it considers it as a fraud and blocks until and unless you make it, yes, no, it's me only. You have to give certain allowments, right? Then it will be unblocked. So if you have done that same like this for US, UK, or some other countries, the transaction, when you have that is unusual patterns because you have not done so for any like that transaction. Suddenly you're doing, correct? So this all are the some of the real world examples of the fraud detection. So next, coming up with how is the chat design for the finance? Okay, how we are utilizing the chatbot for the finance. So AI chatbots, right? So AI chatbots are something like a messaging platform. So whenever you open today any website, so there will be someone who will come up with something like Ria or any girl's name. Mostly it would be girl, correct? So there would be a one pop-up, how I can help you out. All those are designed with the chatbots. So these all are the AI chatbot. How I can help you. You can give some messages. Similarly, if you consider some of the e-commerce platforms like Flipkart, Amazon, all of this, whatever the transaction that you do, if you want to do any ordering and if you have to connect, so you go through the customer care through chatbot today. So earlier you had this customer case, there are multiple people, so you have to call to their number, it would be completely engaged, you're not able to connect. But today it is not like that, correct? So the chat bot, whatever it is designed, can work for any number of people. It's not necessarily it's like one person, two-person, right? So if you have a customer care person, so there is a manually who are handling the call, he can speak at a time one person. But when we have a chatbot, it is 24 into 7, n number of people at a time it can communicate irrespective, correct? Then you can give the balance inquiry, you can get the transaction history, even you can see if you have the HDFC bank. So you have the WhatsApp messaging service. I'm not sure how many of you have seen WhatsApp messaging services. Again, this is an AI chatbot. There is no person who will sit and do a chat with you, right? So this is from this. Also, you can do a lot of inquiry. So you can inquire for balance, you can inquiry for the services, you can inquiry for different information. What are the transaction? If you want to get the whatever the last 5 transactions or completely history for the month, you can do those things. All this is handled by the chatbots. Again, fraud alerts. The chatbot will do the fraud alerts. You can do a complaint. If you want to do something complaining, so you can give a complaint and it will handle those complaints and it routes to the specific people, whatever the complaints that you have done. Then it is first response, it is a cost saving, and it is a improved customer experience. So manually handling to the AI based, there would be a lot of advantages. Now, when it comes to data analysis basics for finance, so data analysis is one of the very, very important. So data analysis, in every field we have the data analysis, correct? So whenever data analysis is happening, not only with finance, everywhere, whenever there is a sales, we do the data analysis. If we are doing a marketing, we do a data analysis. Now, when it comes to finance, yes, very important things in the data analysis. Why is required? Understanding the finance trends. Whatever the finance trends are there, right? If I consider example of stock market, I need to do an analysis on the data, which stock is going high, which stock is coming down, right? How is that stabilization? Will it grow next or not? But then only you will invest, correct? So to do this, what do you need? You need a historical. How is it worked last month, year? Again, there is a AI utilized to understand. So you do a data analysis using the graph. If you go to a few of the like whatever the investment platform that you have, maybe the Grow or different platforms that you have, you will see those analysis data. So you will be seeing if it is going high, it would be green. If it is going down, it would be red, right? So different color. You can see the graphically how it is grown. From which point to the which point. You have a yearly wise, monthly wise, last week. Different information you will get it, right? So this is again very important, the data analysis. Understanding the trends, what do you have it? Now, if I consider I'm a person from a bank, right? So one of my friends who is actually a manager at IOB Bank, okay? So Indian Overseas Bank. So when he is a manager, So what and all things that he has to analyze on his bank, how many people who have came today, or overall how many accounts he has it, right? How many people have done the account this month, how many new accounts have been done, how many old accounts they have it, how is the transaction happening, how many people have taken the loan, how many people have repaid the loan, how many people have filled the interest, right? There is to daily based transaction, there is lot of things to analyze to their bank. How much was the credit, how much was the debit, it has been done. All these are the trends of the finance which needs to be understood. Similarly, identify the risky transaction for the fraud, or it can be for the thefting or anything. Identify the risky transaction and support the business decision. This is very, very important. If I know there are only 10 new customer we acquired in the last month, then I need to tell, no, you guys have to work hard to have a more new customer. Correct? So this is where, if I have decision, so where with the data, by analyzing the data, we are taking up the decision to let us know to grow the business. Similarly, some of the basic finance data, which information, transaction amount, date and time, location, account type. These are the simple finance data infos. Very simple, but among that you have very large, right? If someone has taken a loan of 20 lakh and has not repaid for 3 months, there is no interest, right? So he has to see that information and take a decision what to be done, whether you will connect with that person, why you have not given the interest. So this, all these things would be done using the data analysis. And these data are not very simple, like 10 datas. These are very huge. There would be a lot transaction. Even if you go and see, right? So today you are having up more than, every day you use phone pay. So if I consider monthly wise, minimum 1,000 transactions are there. If I come with yearly, probably more than lakh transaction you will have it. Correct? If I need to analyze the same thing, whatever the bank transaction happened for in your bank, then again, it is not simple that I can manually see and understand. I need to utilize some of the tools. Those are very important. So what and all tools I can utilize? One thing, basic, I can use the Excel to do the analysis. I can have some advanced Excel to do the analysis, right? So which I can understand, like pivot tables, or it can be chart and graphs, or it can be conditional formattings. How do we do it? How do we do sorting and other stuffs? How do we do filtering? So these things I can do up. I can create the graphs which visually will look very good, right? So some of the what we call it as analysis on the data, some examples that we can implement. But further, this is where this becomes the basic, because everyone uses the Excel in all the transactions. But if I need to automate and has to have something more visually appealing, I can go with some of the tools like Power BI, right? So Power BI is a data visualization tool. It is a EDA tool. With that, I can have all the data connected, like all the banking, whatever I mentioned, all those data are connected through the server. Through server, it is showing on a one dashboard where with just a business people, right? I'm just a manager of a company, correct? So I don't need coding and other stuff. What I need the result. I need the data which will help me to take the business decision, right? So that much only I am concerned about. That you guys can design and give it as a dashboard using Power BI tool, right? So this is one bit. Next, I just don't need some dashboard or visualization. I need to have an interaction. I need to ask the question. Then I can design the chatbot. Now, this chatbot design, whatever I'm doing, for this, again, I don't need to learn coding. Again, this is very important. I don't need to learn the coding. So now, to do this chatbot, we have something called Copilot. Without doing the coding, it will do the chatbot design and give it, which we will see it further. Similarly, there is something if you want to design a website for that, so there is something called lovable.ai. Similarly, if you have to do, there is Replit, right? So these all are works as an agent to design without doing copilot, like without doing the coding. So these are called something called low code, no code solutions, right? So this you can do without putting much things on your head to design for your specific problem statement to your domains. Now, when I come with any dashboard designing, so this is how the dashboard look like. So if I have a real-time credit card fraud detection, so this is region wise. So entire, you can see there is a globe image. And there is a fraud percentage by category. So where actually the fraud happens according to the categorically where exactly it happens. In online transaction does it happen, or it in offline transaction it happens, or which type of transaction it happens, what is the average fraud percentage per the stocks. So these are some of the analysis where you can see all this data what you are seeing in a one dashboard or the chart, right? Within one dashboard, within one page, I can understand completely, right? All the information, correct? Without worrying about too many things. Now, in this dashboard, I can have a visual summary of the data, which will be easy for decision making, right? There can be a fraud count by date, high risk transaction, amount wise fraud analysis, alert using the color coding. Some of the things I can give it. So if this all the feature I can put it inside this dashboard. If there is some fraud detection, it highlights in a red, yes, this transaction looks fraud, right? That is what alert using the color coding. So there can be multiple things which can be integrated for this dashboards. So the dashboard designing using Power BI and integrating, right? This to the Copilot is one of the new skill that you guys can acquire, right? Which adds a very good value to your resume. Now, using the Copilot Studio, you guys know the Copilot chat, right? So the Copilot chat is something like your chat GPT. Probably many of you guys have used it, chat GPT, so, right? So yeah, Copilot also probably have used. I'm not sure how many of you use regularly, how many of you do it. So I'm not sure is my screen is visible completely. This there is a symbol like this, you see it in your windows. This is the Copilot symbol. You have a Copilot chat which comes where you can do a query question, and it has very good ability. It can get integrated with your Gmail. It can integrate with your calendars, right? It can integrate with many of your tools. It can integrate in your system. If you download it, it will be integrated with system. So it has the access to all the data, and you can just give a query to this. It works as an agent and search on your entire data history and gives you a response. That is a very good feature that Copilot has it. Now chat does only interactions. Now there is the studio. Using this, what I can do, finance assistant. Like I can design the chatbot by own for my application, right? So build the AI chatbot, not required to do any heavy coding. I can do a finance chatbot where it can answer to the account queries, explain the transaction, guide the customers, and report the suspicious activity. All these features I can incorporate in my chatbot using designing using the Copilot Studio. Now, what is the meaning of this data-driven decision making? Correct? So what is this understanding that we have upon the data-driven decision making? So data is very, very important in today's era, right? Earlier, we have lot of data in the cloud, that is on to the online, whatever we use it. You see, you have n number of like data. All your data is available on the Google. Everything has been compromised. So we call a word called compromised. That means all your data is available. You have your location where you are present. That is available because your Google is extracting the data continuously. You have Gmail given up, website details given up, many things. All these data are being there on the cloud. So one simple example for data sharing I can give it, right? So sometime, I'm not sure how many of you observed. So you think your feed very low, right? Your mood is not good, right? So or you had some conversation with the person, consider about anything related with you want to do travel. So I'm not feeling well, my mood is not good, I need to go somewhere. And if you open an Instagram and you see, you get only the blogs related to travel, correct? How many of you observed this? Or like you have spoke about something shopping and you observe the same thing coming up in your Instagram. Very one more example I'll give how your data are being shared, right? So I don't know how many of you do shopping. Do you guys do the shopping, online shopping? Everyone does the online shopping using maybe the Amazon, Flipkart, maybe the things like Zepto, Blinkit, n number of today's e-commerce, right? Yes, great. So if you are doing like I'll go to Amazon or Flipkart and I try to see one product, I search, or I'll search for many, I see it. Okay, fine. Now I don't have a money. Let me take it in the next month. I'll come back. And you went for Spotify or you went for YouTube, right? And whatever the product you have searched and seen, those itself comes here. How many of you observed this? Like down, all these things will be coming up, right? So this is again your data is compromised. What you are seeing in another application, how is that it is coming up in the Flipkart? Again, data is compromised. There, whatever you are doing, every action that you do, all these things are being shared, right? So this data, as a business person, are utilizing to make the decision, right? So, like if I'm a, that is how basically this is work. So there is a called meta ads, Google's and meta ads, right? So meta ads sees what you are searching, what you are trying to do. This is again a AI agents, right? So what is your interest? Accordingly, it pushes you to with the images everywhere, wherever you go, to make you guys tempt that yes, let me have this ad. Are you? Let me buy this. However, let me take this with someone's with the money and let me buy this. Right? So you borrow the money, see, and then you will buy it. So that is where the decisions are made. Right? So if you have designed one company and you have a website, right? And you want to see how many people are visiting your website. And after visiting that website, how many people are purchasing the product, right? Using the website. How many people have done the transaction? All this data you need to gather so that you can make a better decision on your business. So that's all this are the data-based decision making. So data-based decision making doesn't come up only with doing the graph, right? You will not only get up doing the plot drawing. So it is very necessary for everyone to have a complete knowledge of information, make this decision using the plots, graphs, and design chatbots, multiple things. So what and all we have seen? how AI improves the fraud detection accuracy. Let's see. One of the important tool is Excel, correct? So Excel is one of the tool through which we will do the basic analysis of finance. Everyone can easily utilize. We will do few hands-on with that. We can design the dashboards using Excel or Power BI, like these tools of visualization, right? So which are very important to learn when you are going for your career, whenever you are going for job. These things are must necessary to be put to your resume. Then you have chatbots. Chatbots designing which enhances the customer support. So quickly when you get an answer, it gets resolved. So the customer support, you don't need to wait for someone to pick the call. So all these things are being taken care by chatbots, and it has the data driven decision making. It reduces the financial risk. So where AI will decide whether it is a fraud or not, whether it is a transaction correct or not. All these
Ma'am, I have a
things.
doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, please do go ahead. I couldn't get your name, but yeah, on the practical things. Okay. So first, what I'll do up is I will come. Let me just stop sharing the screen. Okay. So I'll be going to share you with one data. This data is something the simple bank transaction data. Okay. So I have one simple bank transaction data. So where this data has a date column, it has the amount, right? So the merchant, few things I have it with this data. So let's see, are you guys able to take manually the analysis on this data? Where exactly there is a suspicious transaction? I'm dropping you one table. Similarly, I'll be going to send you one Excel data also. If you guys have joined with the laptop, you can check on it. Or if you have joined with the mobile, you can just check it on that table that I have sent you. It will be easy for marking up. Right? So now I have sent one data. So what do you have it in this data? What and all you can see? You have a column which has a date. There is the amount, and then there is a merchant. Merchant is basically for whom the transaction is done. Is it for Walmart purchase or it is Amazon purchase? And there is a location, right? These are the things I have it. But they have, I think, minimum 100, 116 rows are there in this Excel data. So by seeing all this data, is it possible for me to see where exactly there is a suspicious transaction or where exactly this transaction is fraud? How I can tell it? Right? Is it possible to see and do that? Can anyone let me know? By going through this, is it possible for me to understand? No, correct? By seeing up just with this data, it is not possible for me to understand where exactly happening. So one thing what we will do is, let's go ahead with how does AI does this? Let's use the Copilot chat. First, come with the Copilot chat. Then we will do with the studio where we can design the chatbot for this. So this is your Microsoft Copilot. So there I'll paste my data. Right now I have pasted by copying the data. All of you, I believe you will also do the same thing. And then what I'll do is I have simple query to give. Query is nothing but the question that I'm giving. Correct? So how is that question I can ask to the AI chatbot? There you come up with something called prompts. Prompt engineering is one of the field. Like prompts is the query, the question that I'm asking. So I'll ask one question to this, right? So what will be my prompt? Analyze this bank transaction data and identify the suspicious pattern and unusual amounts or repeated transaction or location mismatch in the data, right? So let me give this prompt. Let's see how AI is handling it. Let me put up to you also the prompt. Let's see how it's doing it. With that, there was something like personal PC. If that person is in learning phase, I tried out but finding nothing like agents in Microsoft 365. Is it still rolling out phase in India? You have a Copilot Studio, which you can do up a trial version. I'll show you to that. Okay. Yes, you can use all the things which is there, or else even if you have not purchased, you will be able to get the trial version that you can have it. So now, suspicious patterns, whatever it is analyzed. So several transaction, typically whatever is there, so it is mentioned. So repeated transaction. So this is actually a high amount which has happened. So that's one thing that has given majority. Repeated transaction, whatever it is happened. Location mismatch, it is happened. Clustered spending. So all this it is analyzed. Now, how is this pattern analysis is happening? Correct? So all this, how an AI can do very quickly that we are not able to do it. So there is something that it takes up to the what we can call it as analyzing through the patterns matching. So now all this data are going to have some patterns. So this is, let's see up how is that. So let me come up with showing that how is the patterns understanding we will have it. So let me have that data set again to show you how is the pattern, and then I'll be going to come up with the so I have the data set now. So this is how AI is done very quickly. Now let's see if I'm doing to handle this. Let me open up first. Transaction. Yeah. So now here. So when I have like this, how is very quickly I can do the analysis? What are the advanced we need to do? First thing, let's do the pivot table, right? So pivot table is the summary table. I will select this entire two columns. So to find according to the each merchant, how is the overall sales happened. So I'll do for this, whatever data is there. First, what I need to do, I need to convert this into a table. So presently it is not in the table format. So for that, I'll convert by selecting Control T. It is asked, okay. So now you can see this is created as a table. Earlier, this was not a table. You can see there is a difference. Now I can go to Insert, Pivot Table. Now what is that I need to select? These are the two data. What I convert into table. This I'll be selecting. Okay. And I'll add it to new worksheet. Okay. Now these are the two columns I selected. I'll give amount. Merchant. Sum of the total amount is 4533.4. This much dollars it has happened. Now I can see row wise. Now this is the pivot table. Very quickly I got this. This I can do up using I can do the filtering. I can do the graphical visualization to this. I can insert the graph, right? So I can use the bar graph, simple bar graph I can take up. Let me first select this and then insert the graph. Quickly it will show me up the graph. Correct? So now with this, what I can see up store wise, I have the largest transaction happen. Then next
Ma'am,
to that, there is a
ma'am, if you
luxury goods.
answer my question, excuse me, ma'am.
So this entire, whatever the pivot table I created, from this pivot table, I can do the further steps to analyze how I'll be going to find the suspicious amount. So one thing what I can do up is I can ask, I can give some conditions, right? So like if the transaction, whatever I have it here, if it is greater than certain amount, then I can make it as suspicious. I can put that in terms of conditions, right? So I can add a new column here, right? So very simple one. This is what I'm showing you is the simple one. I can write the equation here if, right, whatever the column that you have it, this, right, the column, whatever the value that is there, if it is less than or greater than, right, certain, I'll give it as $300, then I can term this to be the suspicious. So I can give like this certain parameter. If whatever the amount that I have it, if it is greater than 300, right, then I can term this it as be a suspicious. So then it will give whether it is suspicious or not. One analysis I can do. Similarly, I can create the pivot table, and for that I can add the unusual transactions with the pivot table. So in that pivot table I can give the suspicious, right? So where I can give the merchant wise the allocation, I can do the sorting, multiple things we can do. So let me show very simple one. Okay, so I'll give it as suspicious in a short form, else it is normal. Correct? So these things I have added. So now it looks normal. Then I can just drag it for all the other, right? This are above, it looks suspicious. Rest are looking normal. This works on the condition base. This is one of the simple again, right? So this what we have it as a simple. Now, when I'll show up again, how do we do? If I need to do the summation of this entire, I can put it here in the equation equal to summation, sum, and from where to where you want, from here to here, these are the datas you want. So you can select the data, press enter. So this is overall summation, correct? So then what we did, we gave the condition whether it is normal or suspicious using the equation. If I select this cell, so this is called cell. If this amount is greater than 300, then it is suspicious, else it is normal. This is the condition that we are giving. On this condition base, always you have to give equal whenever you are doing the conditions, okay? And then it will be going to give you the result. So then I'll drag it for all the rows to do, right? So this is one thing that I can do. Next, coming up with pivot table conversion, so that this summary I can get it very quickly, right? So for that, what we did, I selected this two column, okay, and then converted using Control T. So you will have, see, so there is a chart, format, icons, multiple things comes up. So what we did was, even there is a color scale that I can give a different colors for this transaction. So for smaller, there would be one color. For larger, there would be another color. This is the color-based analysis, what we have seen, correct? So similarly, you can create a table, icon set, multiple things that you can do up. So you can data bus. On this itself, you can see the bar on transaction level, minimum to maximum. Now, first I created, this has to be in the table format. If you want to do Control T, if you do by selecting, it becomes a table. Now I'll go to insert, do the pivot table by selecting this two column, and I'll give a new worksheet. Then you will be going to get this pivot table. So if I see the pivot table, So I have row wise all the values. This is one of the thing. So next, let's come up with chatbot design. Let me share. You have to mention it as Copilot Studio, else it will directly take you to the chat itself. Okay. So I'm coming to the Copilot Studio where you can create. So I'll open. So when you come, right, there would be a try for free option. So let me just show you up this. So when you go with Copilot Studio, so for free, and there is signing to Copilot Studio. I'll do try for free because I too don't have a subscription, right? So it asks few things to do. It asks your email and creating the details, but I have already done, so I'll just get signed in. So earlier I have done this step, so I'll just sign in for now. If you have not done, first step is you need to give your email and then create your account for the trial. So now, as I created earlier, for this, when you come with the Copilot, there is an agent, there is a workflow. Agent is the one which works behalf of you, right? Agent is something like code agents. So there is something called cursor. There is Cloudy, different agents, Copilot. So Git, like coding Copilot, right? So you just give a query and it does all this task, coding, everything behalf of you. So agents are something which automatically work, correct? So here, the same thing, I'm creating an agent. So for what I need to create an agent? So here you need to do start building from scratch. You can create a workflow. How should it work? Then you can create an agent, create a computer using an agent. Using an agent, you can create a computer base. So there are multiple things. Okay. So what I need to do, I need to give a query to it. I want to build a financial chatbot which works on the transaction history and helps to helps to analyze the fraud detection. Okay. So you can give, there's some spelling mistake, you can correct it. Okay. Fraud detection and unusual transaction. Right? So I'll give like this query by using the transaction history Excel data. Okay, so something like this, I'll give the query and then I'll ask it to read. It's getting ready. So it has a lot of stuff. It tries to find the data from everywhere, right? So all this will be implemented. So it will try to find the data set. It will try to find the different supportive documentation to it. Now this is your testing agent chatbot where you can test. Okay, and in the knowledge, right, there are multiple things. So select your agent model. Which agent model you want to go with? GPT 4.1, 5 auto is there, 5 reasoning is there, then Cloudy is there, Cloudy Sonnet 4.5, Cloudy Opus 4.5, different options you have it. Now it considered defaultly GPT 4.1. Then you have certain instruction given up here, right? So reading the processing, the Excel performing, these are the things. Data investigation, these are the action it has to consider. All this are the steps given up. So for the knowledge, you can see there is fun PDF, it is considered. There is a case study, it is considered. It is considered my PPT, it is considered it because it was opened, right? These are few of the knowledges it is there. So if you want to add few more, you can add the new upload your knowledge on which your chat GPT should be trained, right? Or your whatever the agent that you're designing with the co-pilot chatbot agent should be considering that knowledge on this, it has to work. I'm adding the agent now. So this is also a part of it, right? So I'll add the knowledge, let it get added. Knowledge is basically on that it will be able to get trained and it will be able to give you the information. That is the knowledge base. So all these things we have added as a knowledge base. So this also, these are the suggestion it is given. If you want, you can add it, few more, right? Or you can leave it. Or I can cancel this. If you want that knowledge to be added, you can add it. Don't leave back. Okay. Confirm. So now only I have added the, because that will be improvises the generation of the responses from the data, whatever I'm adding. Then it will be going to have certain triggers, tools, and different things. And if you have any other agent, that also you can add it in the workflow. And then you can complete this using here in the testing. Now here I can design, so I'll test this. And you have a publish option through which you can publish it so that everyone can utilize this, right? So here now I'll ask, how does the fraud happens? The question I'll ask. Let's see what it is going to give an answer. It is searching through the knowledge sources. So there is a for question, there is an answer, correct? So this is the references knowledge which is considered onto the things that we have given up. So this is general knowledge, what it has been trained and it is giving me. Now let me check. Whatever the prompts we gave it earlier, same prompt I'll give it now. This is how you can design your own chatbots using the Copilot. Now you are not doing any sort of coding here. You are not doing, you are just adding the knowledge sources and you're creating the chatbot and you can evaluate, you can test and you can publish it, right? So yeah, still giving out some of the info. I can give few one, just. Okay, hope it is clear, I believe. So next we will go ahead with few questions. Probably you listened so far, I believe. Let's see. I'll ask you a question and who will going to answer it correctly? Who will be doing the maximum? We can have the winner of the today's webinar, right? So the first question, AI in banking is mainly used for what purpose? AI in the banking sector is used. Manual bookkeeping, fraud detection and automation, printing statements, cash handling. So the first question, let's see who you guys can put it on the chat. Whatever your answers is there, okay? You can give it out option A, B, C, D. AI in banking is manually used for. AI in the banking is mainly, sorry, not manually, it's mainly used for. Why use the use of AI? Is it manual bookkeeping, fraud detection and automation, printing the statements, or cash handling? Oh, good. I'm getting the all answers correctly. Superb. Great. Great. Next, which Excel feature helps to identify unusual transaction? And visual. Conditional formatting, spell check, mail merge, page layout. So somewhere we did suspicious, non-suspicious. What was that? Right? What we are doing
It's so difficult,
by
ma'am.
unusual transaction. Whether it is conditional formatting or spell check or it is mail merge. Yay! Correct.
Ma'am, please
Every
repeat the question, ma'am.
you have answered C and B also. But yeah,
Ma'am,
my
repeat the question, ma'am. Ma'am,
sorry,
repeat the
sorry.
question, ma'am.
Someone was telling something. Helps identify unusual transaction visually. Conditional formatting, spell check, mail merge, page layout. Conditional formatting, correct. Harshit, it's correct, whatever you have answered. So let's go with last two more question. A sudden high value transaction from a new location indicates a sudden high value transaction from a new location indicates normal behavior, data error, possible fraud, or customer reward. What is it? A sudden high value transaction from a new location. Yes, exactly. It is a possibly a fraud. There is a sudden high value transaction means from different locations suddenly, which was not in the history at all, then it is possibly a fraud. Very good. Hello. What is the main purpose of finance dashboard? Right? So we had discussed about the finance dashboard. What is the main purpose of it? Why do we design the finance dashboard? So your options are data storage, coding, visual decision making, printing reports. Why do we make the dashboards? Maybe using Excel or Power BI. Why do we design the dashboards? Data storage. Do we want with the dashboard? Do we want to do data storage? Or do we want to do coding for the dashboard? No, none of it. In Excel, you don't do any coding. You are not going to do a coding even in Power BI. Then visual decision making, printing the reports, which is your option. C, exactly, visual decision making. Superb. So you create a dashboard so that visually by seeing it better way, you can do the decision making without trying to go through that so many long data. We are just seeing visually one dashboard and then we are making the decision. So now the last question. Okay, so let's go ahead with the last question. Copilot Studio is mainly used to create. The Copilot Studio is used to create Excel sheet, AI chatbots, databases, reports. For what purpose do we use the Copilot Studio? Yes, I'm getting the answers. We will be going to end after this. Someone asked. Yes, it's a AI chatbot. Great, great. Everyone have given you the correct answer. Now it's difficult for me to choose who is the winner, right? All of you have given. So now I need to tell whoever have done all the names. If there were one or two, I could have taken a name. But many people are there and all have given the correct answers. Very good, guys. Superb. Yes. So now this is about the webinar. So I'll tell you guys to learn the concepts, learn the skills, which adds a very good value to your resume. Now you have a lot of resource to do, nothing to like someone has to teach you. There is nothing barrier to you. You can learn. Just only the thing is you need to have the willingness. Yes, I need to learn this. I need to gain this skill so that you can get a good position. I don't know how many what is your aim in the life, but I want to see you all of you to have the very good positions, or you can be a next unicorn builder, startup builder, right, by getting all the skills. So I just wish you all to have a very good winner gift. Definitely It's Vineet. Okay. What gift do you need? Great. Okay, guys. Do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask to me? So from